Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are here, Dave and myself, for Financial Fitness Friday.
What's
Okay.
going on, y'all?
And something that I think is very, very, very important to understand is using debt to grow. When should you use it? How should you use it? What you should use it for, what you shouldn't use it for. Okay. This is huge, guys, because too many people get themselves into trouble with debt. And this is coming from someone that has made a living for the last 15 years helping people grow with debt. All right. So, Dave, why don't you talk about one of the positives, like investing in yourself?
Yeah, I mean, the main positive is the return on that investment, how it's going to pay you back. So I think too many times people look at everything as an expense. Everything's an expense, and I believe that society and the media and how these companies market, especially the credit card companies, not necessarily when you're going for a loan, but the credit card companies, buy now, pay it later.
Bro, they have that on Amazon
Yeah,
for like a fucking $20 item.
Yeah. Well, dude, Affirm, Klarna, to buy a freaking $100 pair of sneakers, make 6 payments of $15
Yeah.
over the next 6 months. Like, that's crazy. And you're paying interest on that shit too.
Yeah.
And what's a pair of and look, we all need shoes, obviously. We get that. But what in the long run is a pair of sneakers going to get you? Spending $15 a month.
Yeah.
Seriously. But it's guys, and there's little savvy tricks that I teach people, like how to kind of leverage debt in a positive way, whether it's credit cards or Jonathan does it on the bigger scale, from his company. But be smart and invest in yourself. As long as you stick to the plan and the things that you are being taught, it is going to pay you back. I mean, that's how Trifecta started. And I guarantee you, if Brad was here, he would tell you the same thing, like with just aesthetic nursing and everything else. And I'm sure that's how you started. You're talking about 15 years, all the real estate that you've gotten yourself into.
Yeah. So when I say invest in when I meant that, right, I meant like coaching, education, groups, things that are going to make you wiser, open doors and give you access to people that you otherwise wouldn't have had. That's what I mean by investing.
Right. That's the foundation.
Yeah. So, like for me, it's Arate, Apex. Those groups have taught me how to run my business better, and they've opened a lot of doors, and I've made a lot of valuable relationships. That's what I mean when I say investing in yourself.
Yeah.
On the flip side, right? If you are a business owner, you can invest in marketing. You can invest in inventory. You can invest in people. Okay. You can invest in equipment. You can invest in another business. Those are investments that over the course of time are going to pay off. They're going to have a significantly higher return on investment than other things. Okay, those are positive, and right. And how do you know it's positive? Well, if I buy this piece of equipment and I pay $5,000 a month for it for the next 60 months, however, that equipment allows me to bring in another $20,000 in revenue. Well, guess what? I still have an increase in cash flow of $15,000. Let's say that piece of equipment is a $300,000 machine, okay? And that $300,000 machine, because you finance it, costs around $420,000. So there is $120,000 in interest that, one, you can write off. Two, okay, you're still bringing in $20,000 a month. That's $240,000 a year. Okay, you multiply that times 5. That's over $1 million. So if I told you, for every check that you write the finance company for $120,000, they're going to turn around and write you a check for over $1 million. How many checks would you write? You'd burn up your checkbook. Those are positive investments, yourself and your business. Now, you want to take it to a whole nother level. Let's say that your business is going great and there's really no substantial opportunities, which is almost never the case. But let's say it is, or you want to diversify. Okay, I do this all the time with real estate. Let's say I want to go in and get a new multifamily property. Okay, I don't think the timing's right now, but I do think in 6 months, 12 months, I'm going to be going pretty heavy at that again. Maybe the heaviest I've ever gone. Okay. And if you guys tune in weekly and follow my YouTube, I'll keep you guys updated on that stuff. I'll let you know what I'm looking at, how I'm looking at it, how I set it up. I'm an open book, guys. I want you to win, just as much, if not more. So let's break this down. I typically will not go and get traditional financing for properties. Why? Because I own a lot of companies, and for me to go through the mortgage process is very, very tedious. I don't have the time. So I pay a little bit higher, okay? But I pay higher for speed and convenience, and I'm okay with that. So let's say I go in and get a property, okay, and it's going to cost me $500,000. I have to put $50,000 down, 20,000 for closing costs. If you follow the 1% rule, it'll probably bring in 5,000 a month in rent. I can tell you that the properties that I typically get exceed the 1% rule. All right. So on that property, if it's bringing in, if the mortgage is, let's say, 3,000 a month or 3,500 all in expenses, all the stuff, and it's bringing in $6,000 a month, do I care that I'm paying 8% or 9% money? Probably not. Why? Because at the end of the day, I'm still making $3,000 a month on that investment. Okay. If you actually did the math and added up all your mortgage payments on an investment or your personal home, okay, your $500,000 home is probably going to cost you about $1.2 million. All right. But someone else is paying that note, right? Someone else is paying that note, and then you have the profit that's left over. Dave, what's another way people can use debt wisely?
Yeah, I love how you talk about leveraging debt there. And, a lot of people get sucked into the whole Dave Ramsey ordeal and paying cash.
Jesus.
And look, if that's your thing, I get it. It's obviously not ours. But here's an entry level thing. Okay. Jonathan, speaking on a bigger scale, leveraging debt for massive real estate portfolio. Great goal. I think today in today's world, a lot of people are striving to that, and if you do want to check that out, I highly recommend you follow his stuff. Jonathan has great stuff on his YouTube channel, especially when it comes to real estate. So there's that. But let's talk about some entry level stuff on some credit. If going back to investing in yourself, especially take like an Arte event, for example, or something from Echelon Front. Okay. And if you're coming in and getting started, and if the funds may not be there, or if you're getting weird for whatever reason about quote unquote spending the money instead of investing, guys, if you have good credit, and this takes discipline, by the way, if you have good credit, go get another 0% card or use a 0% check that comes in. Okay. Typically they're about 18 months. Take that, invest in yourself, and put the entire trip on that. Okay. What is that return on investment in 18 months? Technically 19, because if you go by after the statement date and then
Please
the
don't
due
do
date a
that.
month later.
Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Pay it off well before 18 months, guys.
I'm not listen, don't ever drag it out. This is why discipline is the key word here. Okay. It shouldn't take you 18 months anyway. Okay. But look, if that needs to be the case, you're borrowing money at 0%. You're going to spend a transaction fee, which is anywhere usually from 3 to 5%. So say if that trip costs you $10,000, okay, it's going to cost you an extra $500 to get 10 grand. You mean to tell me, and you can speak from experience, I can speak from experience, that not only what you would learn investing in yourself at an event like that, but more importantly, you'll probably gain the one relationship that will change the trajectory of everything. At least one. If not, you should be meeting multiple. But you can't tell me that $10,000 in 18 months less can't propel you to that next level.
That's 100% accurate, man. I'll tell you this. True story. I shit you not. When I first joined Apex, it wasn't called Apex. Okay. And at the time, I was making about $10,000 a month plus commissions. Okay. I forget what I was bringing in on a monthly basis. It wasn't terrible, but it definitely isn't what it is now. Okay. The monthly nut for that was about $2,500. And I was sitting there thinking, how am I going to afford that? That's roughly 25% of my salary. After taxes, it's actually a little more. However, because I committed, because I invested that much, I made a lot of connections, and my income more than doubled. Okay. Then
Less than 18 months.
Yeah, way less than 18 months. But you gotta work the system, right? You gotta put out value. You gotta do the right things. You gotta do what you're being taught.
Yeah, you can't sit on your ass.
And so I did the same thing with Arate. Okay, Arate, when I joined, it was $6,000 a month. That is more than my mortgage. Okay. However, the connections I made, the relationships I made, actually, if it wasn't for me doing that, we wouldn't be here today. Okay, it gave me the confidence and the clarity to rebrand and go off on my own. I've exponentially the relationships I made have allowed me and pushed me to exponentially grow. And there is zero chance that I would be in a position I am today if I did not make that investment. All right. So yes, things are going to be expensive, but it's that, like that quote, things that are easy usually aren't worth it, right? There's no such thing as easy money. There's no such thing as easy work. Okay. However, if you commit yourself from a monetary standpoint, usually you're going to commit yourself to complete the tasks and level up and learn and build those relationships. And that's why this is so important, guys. So, Dave, you have anything to end this with?
I mean, the only other thing, we wouldn't be doing this show if it wasn't through other connections. And that's the other thing. It will lead you to other things, and other people. Because I'm not part of that group per se, but because of our other relationship, obviously with Brad, that created Financial Fitness Friday. That created the ability to me to now jump in for Motivation Monday. It's and now it's a working relationship between the both of us. And coaching and helping other people. So, and that's something obviously like on Mindset Mondays, we'll talk more about like, that type of stuff of relationships and building and getting after it, upstairs. But guys, that is what it is, man.
Dude, I love it.
Hells yeah.
All right, guys. Well, listen, I hope this helped. I hope you understand and that clarifies when to use debt. Don't use debt for vacations, for personal stuff. You need a return on it. Don't borrow money unless it's going to pay for itself. All right? That's the bottom line. Do not borrow money unless it's going to pay for itself. And this is coming from someone that made a career and makes a career out of lending money. Right? Appreciate you guys. Share this. Please share this. That's the only way it gets out. I don't ask you for anything else. If you want to subscribe to YouTube, I strongly recommend it. But we will see you Monday. Dave, thank you.